Hey, Gabriel Blake.
Gabriel Jose,
Where are we today?
we're in place.
In place.
Sheltering in place.
Mm-hmm. Sheltering forever or January 4th.
Until
At
well,
least. At least.
then everyone will be vaccinated and it'll be okay.
Yeah. From that point, it's fine. January 4th is like, as Trump was saying like some time ago, is like after the winter. I think that the virus resets itself. It's like the 2000 effect with the 2020. It's like, this was only like a 2020 virus. It doesn't survive like the year
Yeah,
change.
like everyone gets a new slate at New Year. All
Exactly.
start over.
Virus free. Don't worry, it's fine. But yeah, settling in place. And what did we watch this time? As we don't have anything else to do than watching movies.
We watched the 2006 masterpiece, Notes on a Scandal, directed by Richard Eyre.
Mm-hmm. I am looking forward to the day that you forget mentioning that this is a masterpiece. I shouldn't have started like just taking a note of the adjective that you use. But yeah. And this was your pick. Why did you pick it?
I think after watching Mank, I wanted something good, and to be honest, I don't remember. I loved this movie from my early mid 20s. I've never understood why gay guys like become fangirls of like female celebrities, like the Britney Spears gays or the Cher gays or the George Wizard of Oz gays. I've never understood it until I realized that's who I am for Cate Blanchett. I'm her gay fanboy, and I wanted you to see this movie because I liked it so much. I remember it being very good. I must have seen it last time 15 years ago, so
Wow.
there you go.
All right. No, that's good. So you actually watched it the last time 15 years ago. So you watched it before it was released. Okay.
I was just doing the mental math, okay? It probably was 10 years ago, but I did buy it on DVD, so a long
Okay.
time.
Cool. DVD was a thing. Cool. So as this was your pick, I guess that I need to summarize it. The story opens with Cate Blanchett, a new teacher, moving into I wouldn't say a marginalized school in London, but let's say like it's not a rich kids school in
Working
London.
class.
Yeah, working class. Yeah, I think that's like how they describe it in the UK, working class. So she's supposed to be the new teacher, the new art teacher, and most of the narration. Sorry, the movie has like mostly a narration that is driven by Judi Dench. Judi Dench, that is an history teacher, and she has been like working there forever for her whole life, and she's very snarky on her narration as she's writing it on her own diary. So the movie follows the relationship that is building across both of them and how she starts getting infatuated with her as she gets closer and closer. But the twist is actually that Cate Blanchett actually is in a relationship with one of her students that is 15 years old, and at the same time married to a guy that is 20 years older than her.
Bill Nye. Shout out to Bill Nye. I love him.
Yeah. So also Judi Dench is 20 years older at least than Cate Blanchett. And when Judi Dench discovers the illegal, from a law perspective, relationship with the Cate Blanchett has with this student, she starts manipulating her for just trying to get her favors. And it gets to a point that basically the scandal comes out to light, and tabloids start like just engulfing that, and the relationship becomes like more and more sick between them.
Yep, that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, there is not too much. That's the part of the thing that is like, it's 90 minutes, and I think that is like a legit 90 minutes kind of movie about like, yep, there is nothing else to say here. That's perfect length here.
You actually texted me while you were watching it, and I think you were 10 minutes in or so, and you were like,
Yeah.
hey, it's amazing. And so then when I watched it a little bit later, I was like, yeah, this is like it. You hit the ground running, you run for 90 minutes, and it's over.
Yep. Yep. So that's the reason why I was telling you that it was basically as Martin Scorsese had directed with thing that I told you. Because Martin Scorsese likes to do like some kind of fast pace. If we think about the Goodfellas, is that he likes this kind of like suddenly everything becomes like pretty frantic. And it's going to be like just using short shots. Well, okay, this if I can do it in 5 seconds without like feeling extremely rushed, but it's enough. Let's do it with 5 seconds. Let's not try to stretch it out. And I felt like this movie was doing the same. That it almost feels like, were they charging you, for the amount of shooting that you did? Because it almost feels like that. I mean, not that it's bad. I love it. I actually felt like this engaged me a lot. Is that the conversations are like very to the point. Is that why they are there and how they're going to be like moving the story forward. Everything is like pretty face value, and for better and worse.
So wait, what's the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Can you tell me how wit is connected to this movie?
Oh no, it's not. It's not. I was just thinking about it from the perspective that. Oh, it is?
Let me read you this little bit from the New York Times review that we both read.
Okay.
The film's director, Richard Eyre, ran the National Theatre in London. The screenwriter wrote the play Closer, which Mike Nichols then turned into a film.
That's true.
Directed wit.
That's true. Yeah. And I would say that it's a well-made movie. And I'm only going to be like, just
You were literally like pushing your lips together, like begrudgingly saying that.
Look, when I finished watching it, and there was like a shadow of a doubt in the back of my mind about like, was this as good as I feel like it was? I needed to actually, after finished watching it, I went out for a short walk to the street, like around the corner about, okay, I need to just clear my mind. I smoked a cigarette, and I was like, wow, that was good. And then I started like just setting like the pieces, about, okay, let's analyze that doubt that I have, in the back of my mind. And when I started like pulling from it, I just felt it's like, this is a House of Cards situation. Is that the end result is beautiful, but when you start analyzing small things that they are wrong, you realize about like how swallow the characters and some pieces of the story can be. And this also comes from the New York Times review.
Yeah, so usually I'm the only one that reads the New York Times review, so I think my opinions are Manolo Dargis's opinions, but this week I'm going to have to be creative. So I watched the movie last night with my husband, and then I watched it again today.
You watched it twice? Wow. Okay, well, sorry, let me just say something. And what I'm saying is I still think that it's a good movie. I'm just saying that is I just think that there are like some things that is like, oh, there is actually a trick on this movie.
Yeah, and it's obnoxious as hell. If you like, so let me say that so last night my husband had never seen it, and I had the joy of rewatching a movie that I liked a long time ago, and the joy of introducing my husband to it.
A husband that is 20 years older than you.
He is 17 years old.
I was thinking about you guys.
What do they say? Bill Nye says to her, Cate Blanchett's worried about their daughter's older boyfriend, and the dad's like, older men are trouble, or something like that. Mm-hmm. When she was the sexual predator, but whatever. Yeah. So I rewatched it this afternoon because work was a little bit slow, and I was like, oh my God. This is like obnoxiously on the nose.
Oh yeah.
Everything was just leading up to this one moment that was supposed to be devastating. And so it works. Anyone listening, it works the first time. It doesn't work the next day.
Yeah, or it doesn't work when you think a bit more about it, because I assume that you're talking about like Cate Blanchett, like just breaking down.
Yeah, and the kid grooming her and making her think he was in love with her.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is like, I think that there are like multiple ways of or multiple topics in this movie, and it's like some of them work a bit better, but I think that the script is not as good as it looks like on first viewing, or the first impression that you get from it. Because, for example, is that they talk about age difference in relationship.
Yes.
A lot. Is that Yeah, I mean, it's like basically there are like three relationships, real or imaginary, and it's like all of them, they have like 20 years of difference. Like Kate Blanchett at the student, that he's 15, but he's going to be 16 in April. And he's really mature for his age. Like Bill Nye and Kate Blanchett, that I don't remember exactly what is the number, and Judi Dench and Kate Blanchett. That is basically the same age difference. And they talk about I think there is another topic there that is about how society reads on that age difference. But I think that they never like develop too much. That is, okay, who is the prey and who is the hunter? You know, because when we actually think about Kate Blanchett, is that we assume that she is the hunter with the 15 years old, that she's the predator, basically. But it's like the kid actually just builds the situation.
Yeah, he pursues her.
Yeah, he actually seduces her. That is like, and this is actually, you know, one of the points when I started analyzing this is when I started unraveling, and I said like Kate Blanchett may be playing the dumbest character in her whole career.
I would probably agree. I think she's incredibly dumb, and I think she's evil.
But she's even in a bit more of a dumb way. You know, it's like because I was trying to read it. Oh yeah, Judi Dench and Kate Blanchett, they are both equally evil. It's like, no, I think that Kate Blanchett is genuinely dumb. Sorry, like that's the character. Kate Blanchett's character is genuinely dumb.
Yeah, I mean, Judi Dench she's a manipulator for sure. She's not a pedophile predator, and then even at the end when you mentioned it earlier, Bill Nye is like shaming her, and she's like, well, you were my teacher when I fell in love with you. And she's like, he's 15, and she's like, he's gonna be 16. He's not exactly innocent. And Bill Nye's like, of course he's fucking innocent. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, I think that she's just dumb. I mean, I think that she truly believes that, because I think that also there is another scene when Kate Blanchett is talking with Judi Dench the first time outside of the pub, confessing about what happened. I think that she also mentioned something that is like, well, he's 15, but he's really mature for his age. You're using the kind of excuse that a predator could give about a 15-year-old. You know, that is like, those things are not okay. But the problem is like how the rest of the character is outlined, is that the only read that I have is like, no, this character is dumb.
And if you think like at the Christmas party, her family is essentially talking without her about, wow, her father was really smart and accomplished. She's not. Luckily, she's beautiful. And
yeah,
it's just true. She doesn't have much of substance.
And that's the part, you know, that was one of the points when I started unraveling to this point about realizing that this character is dumb. It's going to feel that this movie is based on not a strong premise. It doesn't have like a strong foundation for just developing, you know, and just giving like fundament to the kind of a story that they are trying to portray. So at the end, it feels like just a trick. The idea is great, but it feels like a trick when you actually start unraveling. You feel like, okay, this character is just dumb, but it's not dumb because she has some kind of mental challenge. It's just dumb because the script makes her dumb, because it cannot make her like a full-fledged character. It's just hollow. And I think that that's the word that the New York Times review uses, that is like, she is a hollow character. And they also say that is like Judi Dench is also a hollow character. Then I feel like Judi Dench has a bit more to it, but Kate Blanchett, it feels like is an archetype of middle class UK, that they are born into money and they are like just bored and they end up doing something stupid.
Yeah, there was a lot in the movie similar to the age differences about class, kind of like. Yeah. Her father was clearly wealthy. She inherited this beautiful house in London. She wants to teach at a school that gives people that come from, and she whispers like the poverty in their background. She wants to give them a real education. Yeah. I would agree with you. With her as a character, I hesitate a little bit because I like her as an actress.
I wanted to love the character, you know, but it's like when I see the breakdown that she has towards the end, I couldn't buy it. It's like she's doing like a good performance, but it's like just giving the kind of character that you have been painting for 80 minutes at this point.
Yeah, and I think so. Again, another theme is like being trapped in domesticity, and it's kind of treated in this very trite way. Like Judi Dench comes into her little studio, and there's a picture of her in like a punk band.
Oh yeah.
And she loves her kids, she loves her husband, but she clearly has this like restless ennui that she wants more than her husband and her teenage daughter and her son with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Which is a valid theme to explore. I think literature and art focuses on that a lot because it's a real thing. But the way that they barely spent any time on it, they just introduced it in like one scene. I was like, you're trying to put motivations in for these characters that there's not a case for. It's not believable.
It's not developed. That's the problem. It's like I don't know if the original screen is this based on a play, on a theater play?
I don't think so. It says the screenwriter. I think he just wrote the movie.
Gotcha. So this is an original screenplay.
Let me check, but
Oh no, there is a novel. Yeah, there was a novel, I remember.
Oh, what was she thinking?
I think he was thinking also of a scandal, yeah. I think that this as a novel, if he was like developing it properly, the characters, they are like more topics because they even like just talk about tabloids, about how basically they get, I don't know, like harassed by all the news outlets. But 1 month later, when the lawsuit lands, it's like there is no newspaper there. It's like you are like just forgotten. This was a scandal. It's that you're going to be like just the 14th page news when the like conclusion comes that she goes to jail for 10 months. But otherwise it's that you are no longer like the hot important thing.
So do you know if in the novel they used the narration device? Because like you said, Judi Dench's character writes in a journal the entire movie, and we hear what she's writing in the journal, and at first she's very judgmental of Cate Blanchett, I think because she wants her, but then ultimately when she thinks she gets a chance, she starts to be like, well, I get why people like her. So what did you think of the narration? Because usually we're not really for that.
I'm usually not for that, and I think that the snarky comments, I like them when at the beginning they felt like they were going to be like giving more body to Judi Dench's character. But it got to a point that I felt like this is not adding anything else. It's like at the beginning you were hating her, now you're liking her. I get it. And it tells the audience, it feels like overexposition because it tells the audience that I'm going to be manipulating her because I know her little secret. It's like, yeah, we're going to be like just spending the rest of the movie with that. It's like, I don't know, you had to do it like this explicit. So I feel like it could have worked better.
I also feel now that we remember there's a novel, I feel like her time at staying at Judi Dench's house after Bill Nye kicks her out, I bet there was a lot there, that a lot in the novel that we didn't get to see because that also felt a little bit incomplete to me.
Yeah, I have to say that the scene when Judi Dench is about to touch Cate Blanchett's leg while she's sleeping and she's at her house, I felt cringe by it. While the narration was talking about like, yeah, women living together is a different kind of experience.
So I didn't mind the narration because it's an unreliable narrator. And I liked that. Like, we're not hearing what actually happened. It's not the voice of God. It's her twisted version of things, which I kind of like. And something our listeners might not know about me is that I studied Russian literature. And the favorite thing of Dostoevsky that I read in college was Notes from Underground. And it's basically the diary of a guy going insane. And so, like, you can't tell at first, but things get weirder and weirder and weirder. I can't find anything that says it's inspired by this. I can't help but think if they both have these creepy, unreliable narrators and their notes on a scandal, Notes from Underground, it's not inspired by it. But I did like the narration to an extent.
Yeah, for me to understand at the beginning, I like it. And I think that it actually just gives, as I was telling you, like a deeper personality to Judi Dench's character. but it's like towards the end I had the feeling that it didn't have like so much value, and I think that even like just sort of like Cate Blanchett discovering the diaries, I don't think that it's that important at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the climax of the film was when she's actually exposed. Like when it hits the papers, that's the really truly dramatic experience. And I think the filmmakers wanted us to feel like the climax was her running out into the tabloids and screaming. And I was like, no, we're done. Like the story's over at this point.
Yeah. I had to say that is that when the movie was unraveling, there are like parts even that they feel like a comedy, you know, like a has. It's like I had this affair and it's going to end up in heartbroken, but the war continues. But no, I love like the fallout. That part, I really like it when, you know, like the news comes up and the parents of the kid goes to visit Cate Blanchett and Bill Nye. I like that part, you know, like the kind of heart-wrenching kind of what the fuck has happened here.
Like the pain of the parents and exposing Cate Blanchett like in front of her kids and her husband. Yeah, I agree. I think that was the best.
Yeah, but the other part is that's the reason. Is like I think that the script is not as good as it should, because I agree with you. It emphasizes too much the breakdown of Cate Blanchett later. That is at this point I don't care, and it feels almost like out of character.
Yep, I agree. It's like this weird thing that was tacked on, which is why, again, I think that in the novel, there must have been a lot in the novel once she moves into Judi Dench's house. I bet there's a lot there. Now I want to read it.
Yeah, I mean, I just opened like okay. Huh. Okay. Yeah, it looks like there is like quite a bit of a difference of where the story ends. Yeah.
So maybe the screenwriter couldn't figure out a clean way to adapt the full summary, and what feels off is this less thought out plot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is like just seeing. The thing is like if you actually see like most of the movie and you remove that scene, and then someone plays for you that scene when Cate Blanchett is going crazy, you would think that is from a different movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know, so it's that okay? Just she actually has like the golden stars, and she starts like just reading the. But the guy, honestly, is that when your life is so destroyed as that, do you think that reading that diary could have affected you that much? And you be like just running into the press and going crazy. I'm here. Like, probably not.
No, it doesn't make sense, and I don't think that. I don't know. I just don't think that Cate Blanchett's character placed a lot of value on the relationship with Judi Dench. I think it was convenient and she was trying to help her. So like this betrayal that's supposed to be like earth shattering for her, it doesn't ring true.
Yeah, I mean, the only betrayal is actually Judi Dench, and she was not the one that gave the news.
Well, she told that guy.
She told the guy, but she didn't tell it to the press or to anyone else.
Yeah.
You know, and the funny thing is like the school takes measures against her, but we don't know if they take measures. So like measures against the guy that it was the one that actually filtered the news to the newspaper.
I'm sure not. There must be whistleblower laws. Hey, that woman's having sex with a 15-year-old. Fire him.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that may be it. I mean, at least this guy actually just
stop a child from being molested.
I think that child wanted to be molested. Let's be open about this.
Yes, but just because a child wants something doesn't mean it should happen.
That's true. That's completely true. But let's just say that it's like I think that Cate Blanchett's character in this movie is so dumb that anyone could have seduced her. Anyone, even a rock or a frog.
I was impressed with that character, the character of the kid. He was so aggressive and confident, and he...
You suck. Did you suck, Cate Blanchett?
Come on, she is stupid, but he convinced her that he was in love with her, and then when she goes to try and go to his house, she's like, did you think that I was telling you the truth? No, I just wanted to fuck you.
You wanted a sob story, and I gave you a sob story.
Yep.
You know, but that's the reason that I think is like the character of Cate Blanchett or he has some kind of mental challenge, you know, or is that just poorly written?
But I think that's the explanation for her being so
Killable?
naive is supposed to be her her tortured, I'm stuck in domesticity, taking care of a kid with Down syndrome. And that's the disconnect that I don't think they made. They don't make her desperate enough to take these drastic actions.
Yeah. Honestly, I just felt like, okay, when Bill Knight asking, like, why didn't you tell me that you were not happy, in this marriage? Why didn't you tell me that you were like just, I don't know, like just feeling like suffocated here? It's like, what I was wondering is like, why didn't you tell me as the audience this kind of motivation? Because for me, as you display this romance, it feels like she got horny and it's like, well, this 15-year-old could work.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that unfortunately doesn't work for a second viewing or even sitting and wondering what did I just watch.
No, I tell you, it's like I actually left and when I left home after like just finishing watching, I recommended this movie to someone. And then after just smoking the cigarette and thinking about it, and I was started to just unravel it. Okay, let's read the New York Times. Let's see if actually I'm in front of a masterpiece and I'm thinking too deep about it. And whenever it's like, nope, it's actually there is some trick here, But it's like it's still 90 minutes that they are extremely engaging. Time flies. Watching it is well directed, but it's a movie that if this had like worse cast than what it had, it wouldn't work at all.
So, would you watch it again?
Maybe. I mean, probably yes, but it's like not tomorrow.
Oh no, don't watch it tomorrow. It'll just ruin. I would definitely watch it again. I mean, I watched it again today, and I would wait a while until I watched it again. Until I forgot this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go over the rest of the questions. Before we score, I will mention something else. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would. It's not a great film, but it's a pretty good film, and it's entertaining. And most people that go for escapism, nobody's gonna look that closely. It'll just be a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, I mean, my way would be, it's like, okay, I want to see something that it can be a bit controversial or flammable. Like topics that they are not okay. I want to see like child molesters, but I don't want to see Nazis at the same time. So it would be like, okay, so you're like just preventing me from recommending you the reader, so I have to go with this movie. But probably I will ask is like, did you watch Not on a Scandal? And if they say yes, I would just change the conversation. It's like, let's not talk about this movie. But if they say no, I would say it's like, you should watch it. It's an enjoyable movie.
And then when they watch it and come back and want to talk about it, you're like, no,
I'm out. It's probably even like recommended with the asterisk, with the conditions that we won't talk about it. You cannot hold me responsible for this. I mean, if they only watch it once, I think that everyone or most people are going to be like just going away from watching this movie once and say like, this is good.
I did.
Yeah, I did too. Until I started like just thinking about it. Like, wait a second, what exactly did I watch? Would you remember it? So you watched it like multiple times.
Yeah. There were some plot pieces I had forgotten, but it's a pretty memorable movie. Memorable performances.
Yeah, and the production, what I tell you about like the cinematography, editing, and the music also. The music also like helps a lot, like just keeping like the rhythm going. It's Philip Glass, I think.
Scored by
Philip Glass. Yeah. So from that perspective, is I agree with you. It's like an easy to remember movie.
It's like elevated pulp.
Elevated pulp.
Pulp. Like it's
pulp.
It's like better than a Marvel movie, but just as engaging.
True. I mean, I think that it has a bit more. It had the potential for being more than just pulp.
Yes.
There is like many commentaries that you can do about society, not only about like these specific characters, and I think that everything falls flat because of the script just doesn't live up to what it could have been.
Got it. Agreed.
Okay. Is there anything artistic about it?
Yeah, I mean, I loved the unreliable narrator. I think the direction was pretty. I don't know. Maybe nothing besides the unreliable narrator. You go.
No. I was going to say that I agree with you. I agree that it's good, but it's also good in a functional way.
There's nothing like, oh wow, did you see that shot? Or
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, if I'm thinking about like any specific shot, can you actually think about like any shot? Because the only one that I can think and I feel pissed about it is when Cate Blanchett goes to the street and the camera starts like just going
I was just
up.
thinking about that. I was like,
just crazy and you know, she has some kind of epileptic attack, screaming. And I just felt like, no, if this is like the highest, if this is like the zenith of the cinematography and the artistic expression on this movie, let's move to something else.
Yeah, I can't think of something that I would call out as, wow, that was great direction. No.
Yeah. Do you think that this is a timeless piece and you watched it 15 years ago? So.
I would say so. There's not a lot like anchoring it to a point in time besides like mid 2000s Nokia cell phones. I think this will age pretty well. Yeah, I do think it's timeless. Like the message that I got 10 years ago is the same that I got today. It's the same I'm going to get in 30 years.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that that's true from the perspective of using resources, you know, or being too hooked on a specific case. I don't think that it is. But I don't think that it is because it doesn't dive deeper into society realities of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we had lived up to the full potential of the movie, I think that it would be like a deeper message that is lost.
Yep.
So, yeah. So when you were talking about like the unreliable narrator, I'm thinking about like the movie for next time, and I'm thinking about like just changing it to the first suggestion that I made to you before we started recording, because that's about unreliable narrators.
Was that Brick?
No, it was Atonement.
Well, spoiler alert.
What did you ask about Brick? Come on, man. But in any case, I think that we should score this.
Okay. It was my pick, so you have to go first.
I had to say that like when I finished watching it, I had like a score in mind, and I almost brought it down. But said, like, okay, I don't want to change my mind. This has been like so, you know, like impactful for me that I'm going to be like just writing it down. And then when I started thinking about it, it's like, okay, I think that I'm going to be like lowering it a bit. And I think that after talking again, I'm going to be like lowering it even more. So,
I had the exact same experience. I had a number picked out last night, and then today I was like, still good. But after this conversation, I'm like, that movie fucking tricked me.
Yeah, I feel like just full at this point. The reason also I was laughing a bit earlier because this reminded me when I started watching it, it reminded me of the Ice Storm. That is like, this is Blake's movie. This is
upper middle class, miserable.
Yep, this is the kind of definition of cinema made for him, like personally for him. But when I finished watching it, I felt like this has been like way more enjoyable because I think that there is like, instead of just a reflection of something, you know, it's like, well, this is the period of time that the Ice Storm presents. And, you know, like just archetype of characters is that this a bit more like, okay, no, this is this human being and this human being. Now, if they're properly written or not, I think that this is not a strength of the film. You know, like the screenplay actually just falls way far from where it should land. But as I had a better time watching it, albeit then I felt a bit stupid for having that better time, I could give it a 7.
Wow, you're generous. So after I watched it last night, I was at an 8.5.
Yep.
And then after today, I was like, I'm just going to call this movie good, 7.5. And now talking about it, and nothing makes sense. I'm down to a 6.5. It's quite a 24 hours.
Oh yeah. You actually saw that I spent like just a minute justifying that I was giving it a 7 because after our conversation I was going like, this is not a B movie. This is a C movie. It's a good C movie.
Disguised as a B movie.
Yeah, but I'm just leaving it for a B, just from the perspective that I found myself enjoyed by it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And anybody listening, if you haven't seen it, I do think you will enjoy it the first time. You just can't look too closely.
But it's hilarious. It's like I'm trying to think about any other movie that I had this kind of effect, and I can only think about Christopher Nolan.
Oh, I've never enjoyed a Christopher Nolan movie as much as I enjoyed Notes on a Scandal, but I see what you say.
Yeah.
It's like a bait and switch. You're watching something important. Nope.
No, these are just entertainment. Is that you are just, where your strength lies, and you're going to be like playing that card, and just hype me about it. And I'm going to be like just trolling you about it, that's going to happen. And then I'm going to be like just, just showing that everything is smokes and glass. That's the feeling that I had. Is like this movie is smokes and glass.
Yep.
But it's still, it has some kind of merit. But when I was checking the rest of the movie that Richard Eyre directed, I felt like...
I don't know what else he directed.
He directed also with Judi Dench in 2001, Iris.
Nope, don't know it. Do you know what this has on Rotten Tomatoes?
95.
87 with an audience score of 83.
But that's the thing, is like if you ask me to write a review for this, and it's like I have to write 7 reviews this week of movies, it's like probably I would give it like an 8. Initially, I tell you, it's like I was going to be like giving it an 8.5. I was like just, it's like it has been solid, it has been like thought-provoking. And then when I start thinking about like what was thought-provoking about this, because everything was black or white, there was no like moral ambiguity. It's like everyone was terrible. Bill Nye would be okay. That's what I was reading on a page right now. Is like on the book, Bill Nye's character is not a nice guy, so everyone is like just terrible, left and right.
Oh yeah, Bill Nye is a good guy. Everyone else is terrible in this movie.
Yeah, because the only bad thing that Bill Nye does is pushing Cate Blanchett for stop talking with that random woman and let's go to the play of your song.
Which also rang really untrue in the movie because he was such a nice guy, and then all of a sudden he's like, "What spell has this witch cast over you?" And I'm like, "Whoa, where's the?"
Well, but that's the part. That's the part I think that you were right about the unreliable narrator. That you can say that. What about if everything that we're watching in this movie is the perception of what happened from Judi Dench's point of view?
So what we're actually seeing is unreliable? Yeah, that could be.
But honestly, I think that if we have to just be so far-fetched, we are giving this movie way too much credit.
If we're like looking for ways to make it work.
Yeah. So what about if this movie is smarter than us? Like, no, we don't have to do the homework for this movie.
What if Judi Dench is just having a bad acid trip and all of this is in her?
What about if Judi Dench, Bill Nye, Cate Blanchett, and the kid are all the same person?
And it's like the Truman Show. They don't know they're on television.
No, I mean, I was thinking about adaptation, about like the script, the 3 that Nicolas Cage records. We are one and the same. We love you and we hate you. I honestly felt more and more disappointed about this movie. Albeit I loved it so much when I finished watching it. It's almost like just falling in love with someone and then hating that person after a breakup in less than 24 hours.
And then realizing they're completely vapid. There's nothing there. They just have good social,
exactly.
Skills.
Yeah, I found him so hot. It's like just looking at a scruff or someone and just finding someone like super hot, and then just start talking with them, and we're just like, okay, they sound dumb, but I'm going to pretend that they do not sound dumb, because the guy is super hot. So I'm going to be like just overseeing, like just ignoring all the deficiencies because I'm looking forward to the climax.
And that concludes our review.
I'm not saying that I did that. I have some kind of criterion principles, but what I'm saying is like I can see like how subconsciously we want to put aside the weaknesses of these movies. I mean, we have watched enough movies for just realizing what this movie was doing from the beginning.
Yeah, it was during my second viewing, I was like, oh, this is like obvious from the first like dialogue.
Good, man. So I give you the choice. Do you want to watch Atonement Nest or the other one that we mentioned before the podcast? The other one that we mentioned that it was going to be like a pretty random follow-up French movie.
Oh, Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, Moulin Rouge. They take place in Paris.
Let's do Atonement. It's one of like, I would say, our all-time favorites.
It's one of those movies that, like The Fall, we always keep going back to, about like discussing about it.
And I haven't seen it since you and I have known each other, which is like, what, 8 years, 9 years?
Well, I mean, if you go with the rule that you use for Notes on a Scandal, it's probably like 14 years.
Yeah, like since I was a teenager. I think when I was 12, 13, my mom took me to see it.
Yeah. Okay, man. That's great. So let's watch Atonement for the next time. Anything else that we should talk about? Notes of a Disappointment?
No, I think we covered our emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it has been a trip. My last 24 hours, I have to be like thankful because this gave me a trip, like a whole trip about like falling in love, falling out of love, and just feeling stupid with myself.
Wow.
And to whoever is listening, just if you want that kind of complete trip, is that this is a good movie for that.
All right. Well, Atonement next.
Yeah. What should our 5 people audience do?
Wash your hands and shelter in place.
Exactly. Bye.